I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Connecticut, special meeting, 16 February 2024 to we'll start with any public comment on the agenda items. To address what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. Okay. Next, item number 3 would be the review and approval of the cemetery ordinance. So.
You want me to share it?
Yeah, please, if you can do that. Yeah. Some of you guys can see it at home. I have an extra copy. If anybody wants to show it for me.
No, thanks.
All right. This had been reviewed by town attorney Randy Vella and Kramer Anderson. Some of the other changes, we have some red up here. There were a couple of things that were just not corrected or changed here. So I took the liberty of adding a few things and just further identifying, I think, some of the areas in the ordinance we talked about. So on. So first thing I read, I just added KCA as abbreviation. So we understood what KCA was in the last part of the first paragraph A. It was KCS. We just changed it to KCA. And then we talked about the purpose of the ordinance. The cemetery zoning carrying committee, and there was some discussion last time that there might be more that are just maintenance. You're not able to be have anyone else. So we changed that to include but not limited to the 6 commonly known cemetery, 6 commonly known as those that are following Bulls Bridge and Congregation, and so on. So that was just to add in case there was something else that we came up that we had to actually work on maintenance. Sorry, give me. And then the cemeteries committee on number D consisted of 5 members, and Lynn suggested the 2 alternates, which made sense. So we just added that piece in there that 2 alternates who will be elevated to any meeting where the quorum for a meeting requires the elevation for it. And that was just explaining that. I think everything else was pretty well set. To the bottom of the G just had, it was an extra operations in there. So I just cleared that out and said, G Cemetery Committee has the authority to promulgate and adopt its rules and regulations for the operations and administration of the cemeteries. That just cleaned that by cemetery. So.
What about how long after these initial terms, how long is it?
Yeah, it was a question.
Regular term for the members? I had said, did it have to be 6? And Randy made some comment about 6 is a long time, it might scare people off. I mean, does that need to be spelled out here?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Probably should unless we, I don't think we'll leave that necessarily to the committee to decide what they want.
No, I
Change their own, regulation. I guess it should be in the ordinance. So we could add after D, after which, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, I think 6, I definitely agree, 6 years is too long.
Yeah. 4 years, and so that gives it at which time all appointments will be 4 years. 4 years is 4 years.
After the initial terms?
Yeah, with the appointment board, the initial appointments of the committee shall consist of, and each one of those are staggered terms, after which time all members shall serve a term of 4 years.
So that, does that then become a new thing by itself?
Yeah, it would be after that, correct. I would think either, or finishing up that paragraph, you could add.
Okay, so just take away that.
Yeah.
How many members do you have?
5 with 2 alternates.
You want to stagger some of the terms?
Right.
Not replace them?
We've done that,
Yeah,
we've done that,
Yeah.
but the thing is that we don't say how long a normal term is.
Yeah, even after the
You know,
initial.
like after the initial ones.
And then we.
All your members are on the same initial term though?
No.
No, because there's
Okay.
one, you know, one is 2, 2 or 4, 2 or 6.
We do 4 years after that.
4 years.
They're still staggered, but it will serve a term of 4 years after their initial time of the initial appointment.
So like all members,
Yeah, all members will serve a term of 4 years after initial appointment. It's about,
Their initial term
yeah, it was 4 years, it's 4 years, 2 years, it's 4 years, 6 years.
has ended.
Yeah, figure it out, but yeah. More efficient.
I looked at the current ordinances, at least the version that I have, which is quite old. And I think that the ordinances are actually by number, not letters. You know, I think it's not ABC, I think it's 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So it's like 19-1, 19-2, or 0.2 or something.
Okay, you want to do 1.1, then 1.1, 2, 1.3?
Well, no, I'm just saying that the letters here, they
Right.
should be numbers.
Yeah, I'm saying,
Yeah.
so 19-1 is the cemetery committee, so
Yeah,
under that would be 19-1.1, 19-1.2.
I think that's the way they are.
Okay.
I think they are in the other ordinances.
Good point. So, I mean, section 19-1 and A would become the 0.1 and, yeah, 0.1. 2, 2 would be 0.3, so you actually have the alphabet, right? And there's the alphabet, there's 1.7. Here's your good help.
I'll fix it later.
Okay, we got it.
Not
But we'll-
not cooperating right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Can we go back to the terms for a second? So if everyone is doing 4, so that part C right there, 2 members shall serve for a term of 6 years. So that
After that 6, it becomes 4.
after that 6, it'll become 4. Gotcha.
And then just daggers.
Okay.
You think we should change this, the way the sentence is structured after each member's initial terms have ended?
I was gonna say, yeah, because it's a little couple.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Each member's initial term should be followed as this was 4 years.
That
Also,
was cool.
up at the top, isn't it statutes with a T?
Oh, statute, you're right.
Statutes.
I thought I corrected it.
Statutes.
Statute. You're right.
Yeah.
Statute, sorry.
Statutes. Is that anywhere else there, actually? Statutes.
I don't know.
It's in C, it's correct in C. Statute.
Gosh.
I think G should be the cemetery.
Yeah. So I'm with that too, I just think.
So that means that there's still some stuff we should probably put into the regulations. I know we already approved them.
You can go back when they commit this thing.
Okay.
The
I
cemetery
know
is
this
already
is the
probably
most
done.
important.
Yeah, get the ordinance right. But no, we can go back and work on that since we're gonna be pulling the committee together as well. We can amend that. It's, well, we have the ordinance done, right? Yeah, the work on the meeting before, not 15 days or whatever.
Do you think we can advertise the need for cemetery committee members before we have the ordinance?
The ordinance, we can put it out that we'll be looking for what's ordinance approved. I have no
Yeah.
problem with that. And then anybody interested, we're not gonna make an appointment until after the board's approved. So I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and I've got a date for that. So anything else on the ordinance? Did anybody see anything else?
Yeah, looks good to me.
Good one.
I can't remember what Randy said, so I have to look up. All right,
Sorry?
I was working all day, so prepare as much as I usually do. So we have the cemetery fee schedule. The way, just make sure I understand this correctly, cemetery fee schedule is set by the cemetery committee.
Right.
And he writes subject to veto by. Does that mean the board of selectmen has the final say though?
We do, since they're a committee of us. Yeah. It says right there that, what is it? The action of the town board of selectmen should be controlling, which again, we do have the oversight, but.
So they propose
Yeah,
changes to
propose
the
any
fee
change
schedule.
in fee schedule. Since we already proposed the initial one, that's what they
Okay,
would start
got
with. Anything that to change, I'll let back to.
So it's our responsibility to change.
Correct. I never recommend. If there's any changes, as they say, costs go different, whatever.
And we don't have to talk at all about the special fund in the ordinance.
No, not at all. It's already, it already says here that, any funds, assets, or rights or obligations of the said association, in the first paragraph, shall transfer assigned to the cemetery, at which point KCLB is out, so. We can, if that is. Barbara, you on?
Yes,
Yeah, we do not need to take any more action regarding the special fund that the KCA is going to transfer to the town right now.
I don't believe you do. It's going to be automatically created by virtue of them giving us the money.
Okay, correct, that's what I thought, okay, thank you.
Barbara, does the fund need to be restricted in writing somehow? Like, where does that happen? Because.
Well, the best scenario would be to, when they turn the funding over, to turn it over with a letter saying what it is and what it's to be used for.
Okay,
So they would provide that.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That'll be that separate fund, non-expiring, whatever, those will be protected. So,
Okay.
okay,
Do we have
any questions? Yeah. Working, then we we'll discuss.
I'll make a motion to approve the cemetery committee, called cemetery committee?
Committee, yeah.
Cemetery committee ordinance, section 19-1 as presented today.
Okay, second, Glenn, thank you. Okay, any more discussion regarding that? Seeing none, all in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
Right, yeah, great. No opposing, it passes, thank you. Okay, so our next item is setting a town meeting date. Obviously, this has to go to town meetings, it's a new ordinance. To the town meeting date. So the regulations require us to have 5 days, not counting the day of our action on it or the day of the meeting. So we go back to everything else. I think I counted it. It's today, so it's, and it has to be a working day. So it's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 4 days, 26th is the 5th day, 27th is the next day. Is the next day, only day or the first day we could have a town meeting. It's a Tuesday, the 27th.
Tuesday, the 27th.
Have you checked with Tammy and them about, because I want them here.
Yeah, we'll make sure that they're here. Oh, yeah, we'll make sure, I'm sure they'll be here. But we have to set the town ordinance as well, but we can make sure they're here. I'm sure they will be. I don't think they're.
Okay.
Ask them. But we have to set that tonight, or we delay it again numerous times. We can set, but I'll make sure I contact. I'll call
And
them.
the next time we meet right now is the 28th, so we probably want to.
Right,
Do
we
this.
want to do
We
that
wanna do
before
this.
that. Well, thank you.
I'm okay with the 27th.
What time is 7 p.m. is the normal
7
town
p.m.
meeting. Yeah, the normal town meeting date or time.
Yeah, but it's also not normal to have it on Tuesday.
I was gonna say, it's a different day.
But I mean, I
Right,
know,
extended it longer, but,
I don't, I'm just a little
no,
nervous.
that's the only thing that's gonna be on that town meeting, is the
Yeah.
ordinance. There's nothing else. We looked at some streetscape, and that's gonna be actually delayed for a little bit. And so there's nothing else, that's a one object meeting, so, yeah, to preclude how many people who might not be here, who might be off on weekends or whatever, or vacation,
What happens if it's snowing?
then it'll be postponed, then we would have
We'd
to.
have to go through the whole thing all over
40
again?
notice, I think, yeah. I think it's for you. Joyce, do you know?
Now you guys
Is it-
with the whole thing over again.
Are you
Is
here?
it?
Joyce, are you here?
She's not here.
She's not here. Okay. Yeah, she's not feeling well, so I didn't know if she popped up.
It's not gonna snow that day, so.
Well, I've never, it doesn't, I can't remember that happening, but I just thought of it. And it's
I'll tell
like,
you what, when we put out the notice of it, I'll make sure any snow date, I'll check with.
yeah, if that's possible,
Tammy.
I think that would be smart.
We'll do that. We'll make sure we
Well,
know exactly what we
If
have.
it snows and we cancel, we're meeting the next day. So then we can,
Yeah.
We'll find out all of our
You don't want to
requirements.
take over, that's our regular meeting date.
No,
not to say that we
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
that, but we could come up with another date.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find
Yeah,
out.
we can figure it
Tuesday,
out.
I'll know what happens. If for some reason there's a weather out and we don't have the meeting, make sure Bill and Tammy are there and Bernadette, anyone else from.
But I guess the question I have is it possible to warn a snow date? Because if it is, then you could do it all at once.
No, I don't know. We'll warn this Tuesday anyways. first
Right,
thing we
well,
can, so
warn
we'll
it
make
for
sure.
Tuesday the 27th.
I'll
If
ask,
it's
let's see.
possible, maybe you could just say,
Get-
snow
get an
date will
extent,
be
yeah.
Thursday the 29th.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can. Yeah, why not? We'll make sure, just in case, you're right. That's a good point. We want to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, I don't want to delay this anymore.
That's a good point.
And I would hate for it to have to go through another 5 days and all that stuff.
Correct, yeah. All right.
No, that's a good point.
Makes sense. Maybe we can do that. I'll ask Darlene, we'll ask to find out, but we can set that date as 27th now and we can, and just so that we now prep it and put it in on Tuesday to make
Yes.
sure that we get it on the calendar. So like I said, five full working days and the next day after, which is 27th. So, all right. So all in favor of our motion for the 27th, I'll make a motion. The 27th be the date for a town meeting on the ordinance. Is that what you were doing?
At 7 o'clock, yeah,
7 PM. Yeah.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor? Just your discussion, okay? We're good with the proviso that I will check on any requirements for an alternate date and how that would take it, so, okay.
Should we include that in the motion?
Yes, I'll put that in the motion. Yeah.
That was
sure.
29th.
Well, whatever date it is, yeah, that if
I
it's 2
think the
days.
20, I think, well, I'm just thinking we don't want to do it on the
No, we won't do
28th
it.
because that's our meeting.
That's the meeting. No, no.
So if it's possible to have a snow date,
Yeah.
I think it should be.
29th or the next day, whatever requires us, we can do that. Yep. Okay. All right. And setting the agenda. 2. Approval of the special agenda. Okay, you have a clean copy here, so I watermark copy. It says the electors of the town of Kent and those qualified to vote to the town meeting of the town of Kent are by warned and notified that the special town meeting of the town of Kent will be held in person. Kent Town Hall, 41 Kent Green Street, at 7 PM on 27 February 2024. Or we will adjust that for if there's an alternate date due to weather. And the agenda will be only one thing. Shall the town adopt the cemetery committee ordinance 7-148?
Oh, there's a typo, huh?
Jeez.
That's the statute, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a statute, the ordinance, so. 19. -1. The committee ordinance 19-1 as proposed and as on file with the town clerk's office. The ordinance and ordinance and amendment to rights document town meeting be held. Yeah, okay, yeah, so number 6 shall become effective 15 days after the publication of newspaper circulation time. Dated the 16th February 2024.
You have a different version, the ones you put up. It says December 6th. One in the folder.
Yeah. Excuse me, February 16th, 2024. 15 days after publication, newspaper circulation, town again.
It does not say an ordinance adopted at town meeting.
Yes.
But that would be
That
February
was
27th,
27th,
2024.
right, sorry, you're right. Thinking. All right, December 27th, 2023. Right. Okay, so the town adopted cemetery ordinance, cemetery committee ordinance 19-1 as proposed and is on file in the town clerk's office. Aforementioned ordinance and amendment to an ordinance adopted at a town meeting on December 27th, 2023 shall become effective 15 days after publication in a newspaper circulation in the town of Kent. Dated 16th day of February. That is the only thing on that agenda. Okay, anything else? Corrected?
You said February, right? Not December.
It should be February 27th.
I think you
Oh,
verbally said.
Oh.
This.
February 27th, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So corrected, February 27th.
I move that we approve the agenda. That's what we have to do, right?
Yeah.
We have to approve the.
No, probably. Agenda or the motion? Okay. Okay. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Okay.
Okay. Sign all this, we could leave a little, sign the correct one, we typed it correctly, but. It's correctly. Okay. What else we got? Approve the original agenda, Swift House update.
Is that me?
Yes, you.
Okay, that's me. So I got a key from Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. You're out there. And I went marching over to the Swift House and I took a bunch of pictures. So Maria Wisniewski from State Historic Preservation Office wanted just a bunch of pictures on the outside, on the inside. So I took pictures of all the rooms, downstairs and upstairs, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the storage, the basement. I took one picture, it's a little blurry. And I sent those pictures on to her. She and this other fellow, Todd Levine, who seems to be in the office and is really good with building and fire code and ADA. I believe both of them would like to come here to see the house, to meet with us and see the house. And they gave me 4 potential dates. So it could just be us. It could, I don't know what, if the architect is around, maybe we could do it with the architect. Maybe even, let's get the whole party there, even the Swift House Task Force. But how do you want to move on that?
I think you should include the task force.
And the architect.
And the architect, yeah, we did. So, what were the dates?
Okay, so she gave me 4 dates. They're all 10:30 a.m. One is Thursday, February 29th. One is Friday, March 1st. And then the 2 later on, Thursday, March 7th. And Friday, March 15th.
Let's,
Couple Thursdays, couple Fridays.
so we can, why don't we take that and we're probably not gonna do it on the 29th, but maybe a little too soon.
That's too soon.
Yeah,
That's too
but, we can check with the architects, we can call them, our architect, on Tuesday and see what dates they would be able to make it as well. And get Zan in the task force, I don't know, she's in India for a couple of weeks, if she's supposed to be back soon.
I texted her and she didn't text back, so I don't know if she's in the country or not, but I would like her to be involved.
Yeah, of course, I agree, I agree. So, yeah, she's supposed to be in India for a couple of weeks, I think.
Yep.
We saw her last week. Second.
Nice.
Go. I know. So, yeah. But yeah, so did she like?
So maybe if you want to reach out to the architect,
We'll do
I'll
that.
reach out to Marina and say probably the 7th and the 15th. Probably the 29th and the 1st might be too
Yeah, it
soon.
might be too soon.
Automatic.
Seventh would be better. I'm gone the 15th, but that doesn't.
You're going the 15th. That's right. The actual best day for me is Friday the 1st, but that's, that might be too soon.
I don't know. Let's see what you're thinking.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you reach out to the architect
Yeah.
and,
Call her right away.
and then email us, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
I'll
email and
I'll email Marina.
make some, do a special meeting.
And I'll reach out to her tonight and say that we are discussing these dates and,
Yeah.
okay.
Great, so we can't shoot for the person to get, can, tack here and for, that was great.
That'd be great.
And maybe we could go beyond just that for the meeting, since if we're gonna get Tim here.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We could sort of
Oh, sure.
launch,
Yeah, while
we
he's
haven't
here.
really had our first meeting with him
Yeah.
except for.
Right, I know that Joyce, before she got sick yesterday, unfortunately, had reached out to Tim. I don't know if she got a response back to give us an update on where he is and whatever preparation he had from his visit. I think that may have missed it because Joyce is out. I didn't have a chance to call Tim. But I'm sure Tuesday we'll be able to do that.
Okay,
And
great.
then we'll get, yeah, and then we'll let you know if it's first, which would be great. And, yeah, we could, if it works for you all, and we'll see where Marge and anyway, and Zan is, see them. Okay.
The next regular meeting we have on the 28th, for my report, I'll, I will talk to Maureen a couple more times since then, and I'll really write up a very specific, detailed report about next steps.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
what we need to
Yeah,
do
what-
to get on the state
what they
registry,
do, yeah.
and what does that mean for possible funding? So, I'll get things in the Google Drive as well. So,
All right. Okay.
that's all I got.
Great, thank you. Okay, number 7, before we go on to the budget, I had a chance to spend time with the second grade from Kent Center School and Star and Mrs. Willenbach's second grade class. And it was a kind of civics thing, what does the town do and all that. We went through all the town departments and commissions and talked about what the town does and what it's all about. And the activity we put together, and actually put together by Kate over at the Memorial Library, was a mock town budget activity. It's fun. We told them they had $100, and then we worked on their second grade salary. Choose which town department funds to fund and how much money to give each department. And I was looking for anybody that really could figure this out, put on the budget, and I was gonna bring it to meeting today. And it actually half the kids really went over, they were like, no, we need more for this and more for that. But, yeah, Mrs. Saul from the animal control area, she was giving almost everybody gave her money. Wow. So Lee, they're really good. Planning and zoning got a lot of money. Public Works got a lot for new snow plow. I think for some people that think snow plow. Do that. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Sanitation, they like water and sanitation, a lot of kids. Park and Rec got a decent amount. Senior Center, 2 groups came in and put the Senior Center. It was very good. Or Social Services Senior Center. They kind of actually combined it, which was kind of cool in a sense. Roads didn't get any money. So.
It's normal.
And government, one group gave government money, it was like $3. So out of 15, we had, I'm sorry, got a little wet, but we kind of gave, this was a request, kind of what we're doing. And then we said, well, what do you think out of $100? And then you could add up. Some of the kids are really good at math and they figured it out. Like I said, a couple groups went over, they just gave money whatever they liked. And Lisa all got thousands of dollars for animal control. And they tried to explain what it really was, but they all wanted like, can we bring bears in? I was like, that's not really what she does, but okay, sure, if you want to change it though. But it was pretty interesting around the fire department because it responded to emergencies and it kind of gave a description. So I'll just throw that if you want to look at it.
But they want to fix the potholes, so, no drivers.
I told you, talk to your parents, they'll probably want to say that more than maybe you guys do, but Park and Rec and they like some. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of amusing, but we had a nice time, it was about an hour and a half, and the kids were really great, and a lot of fun talking all. So, and they didn't know that Mrs. Starr was a firefighter, and she kind of keeps it quiet. Okay, all right, back to the real budget, although it was interesting, so I want to mention that. We're starting out with Public Works this morning, this afternoon. So, Rick, is there anything you want to start out with, or you want to?
You have questions on what I submitted? That's okay.
I had one. Basically, on the maintenance line, it went up 25%. Is that just an increasing cost of maintaining your equipment? So if I assume it is, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Going over on that line the last couple of years.
So it's reflecting reality.
The older the equipment gets,
Yeah.
then the costs are just going up. No. no matter how old they are.
Okay.
I guess one thing that I need to think about is, are you thinking about climate change when you're presenting these budget numbers? Because I remember when we talked in the summertime, you told me about how things are different now when you have these huge, intense rainstorms and how they decimate the things like and dirt roads.
I didn't really factor into this year. From now on, in planning capital projects, where we're doing a lot of drainage work. Just a normal maintenance item for whether they go up one pipe size or not. It's not something that I would change the budget much on. Once we're doing, like I said, the whole road reconstruction. Normal. We're only changing a couple of culverts a year, and then the price per quote for size difference, like 15 to 18 is not really that much. It's probably ask for a budget increase.
The Town Aid Road piece of that, I think we cut it off. I was hearing good things about that.
Normally, but it's a representatives have to drive up roads to get there. They realize that they're crummy stuff. And what's happened, I think it went down one year, but then the following year it came right back up.
I just wondered, I heard that at one of the seminars we went to. And potential, but I haven't seen that in any kind of change in the legislative agenda that the governor put out for the shortened Assembly and Senate time this year. So
They weren't gonna change or they were gonna lower?
I heard it was going to lower it, but I didn't see that in what the governor put out, what his agenda was, either to cap it or or certainly raise it. It wasn't in there, but I didn't know anybody from the legislature that's proposing any bills. I didn't see any of that had them cutting. They're trying to increase a lot of school funding and early childhood funding. They're trying to find the money for that in this, because it's a 2-year budget. You guys know about kids. So anyway, but how they're going to make that up? They have obviously a little bit of rainy day fund, as they call it, or they're in a surplus area. So they're trying to limit how much of that surplus they actually take out. But I had just heard Norton, but I just know if we could hear anything. He had kind of a short meeting with the COG, other town supervisors. I don't know if they had a chance to discuss anything like that.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
And no, until it gets closer to the vote, then they'll discuss it more. But right now, I don't think I've heard anything coming out. Usually, I think we have our budget passed before there, so.
I'll say, doesn't that usually happen in like early June?
Yeah, because I think their fiscal year is September, right? I think.
I know they're on a different schedule than us.
Okay.
The HI opt-out, that's for health insurance, right, the people, is it 15,000? No?
It's the max. It's,
So that means 3 people are voting it now?
yeah. Half the cost of the maximum. In the contract, it's 50.
Yeah, so you should. And so if you're looking at the health, I know that it hasn't been solidified in what their percentage is in health, but it's expected to go up a little bit. They always go a little higher, might actually come in lower.
Can you guys explain the health insurance to me, because I'm a little lost on that, I don't know where we're at.
Right, well, we have because these guys are in the union, their contract states that they cannot accept a health benefit plan that is lower than what they have now. It's going to equal to or better in coverage and so on.
Right.
And so they're, right now, all the benefits the state plans put out doesn't cover everything that they get covered now. So we can't change their contract to go to another health plan. So we're pretty much.
Really? So we can't go to the state plan?
Not for the guys on town, because
The
they're.
language in the contract is equal or better.
So better than, yeah.
If it's not at least equal, then
Yeah.
if we accept it, then our numbers are down, so.
The state plan does change quite a bit, and we know, we went through that at school, like, be permitted to talk about that for a minute. And we found that, the first year or so it was down a little bit, and then subsequent years, as the numbers grew that were in the state plan, benefits came back up again. So the union, we dealt with the Kent Education Association, Connecticut Education Association, was not necessarily in favor, but when they saw the change, they agreed to go to it. So, I don't know the plan specific, I don't know. Barbara, if you can talk any more to the health plan at all, just cost wise.
I heard that the Connecticut plan is going up between 2% and 4% this year.
That's a state plan.
Right, that's what I meant.
Right, so
What
that's
about our plan? Do we
the
know?
plan for these guys, it's not. It's estimated.
We've been told, I think, 7%. Is that what I have in there now?
They're a little bit more, we have 13 point.
Well, right now it's at 10, but I think we are hoping that it comes in at 7. Right now, the budget reflects 10%.
And so what is our plan? Are we part of like Region 1 or Region 1 is doing the state plan? I'm just not.
We're
what do
part
we-
of town itself, and we're Sharon, what was the other town that were?
South
South, yeah,
The
Sharon.
Ocean is part of it.
Okay.
Everybody used to be in the same plan, and then a bunch of different towns split off. And as they did, it shrunk the members, and Kent is one of the remaining members of that original group. But
So,
most of the other towns are with the state partnership 2.0 plan.
so it would be worth taking a look at, like we did the school, and then if we had to ask for a contract, exception to change, if it is equal to, if we could find out if we bring someone to actually do a comparison and see if it would be considered town. What is the town just had their contract done, right? For the guys.
It's just got approved. right?
No, it renews June 25, I think.
Yeah.
So you got, this is the final year of the term. This will be the final.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, so we can look at.
But there is a clause, like if we wanted to change insurance, we could negotiate with them on that, like.
Yeah, we could open it to negotiate, absolutely, that's what we did with it.
And do we have like a broker for the health insurance that deals
So
with
we
it?
do. So you're right now.
Or the administrator Kona, KONA.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I think that's smart to do that.
Oh, I
periodically.
agree. If the guys get, all the coverage that they have for all their bumps and bruises and all that, that they try to sustain it the same, it worked better. A lot of it had access to the doctors that they felt they were comfortable with. That was an issue with the teachers, and they accepted that. For other, I guess, compensation, they changed it for a year, and then the next year, all those doctors came into the state plan. So that, it did limit it to some of that. So those are some of the things that we'd have to look at, but.
I know,
For sure.
I personally have experience with the state plan because Litchfield is part of that and I'm on John's insurance. And it is amazing insurance.
it's
It's
good.
better than what they had before.
Yeah, well, it's the state plan with my wife too, and that's pretty inclusive. I don't go to the church all they should, I guess.
And I apologize that I do not know this, but how many members of the town figure? I don't know.
6 others besides me.
And so three of those people are not taking the insurance. So that's 3 people plus Rick, but Rick's not even in the contract, so we're talking 3 people.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's definitely worth looking at.
Well, yeah, sure, but if we get, and we convince them, they feel comfortable enough that we can do it, we can listen. You need to open that up. We're looking at too, for sure. So,
That was a thing for those.
Hmm?
2 of the 3 are covered under, their
Oh,
wives are down insurance and another.
Right.
So
right, so, yeah, there we go. So. Yeah. Piece two. Is there any adjustment then to that health line? If it's only 10%, we have it projected at 13.58.
I'm sorry, what?
Any change to that, the actual increase line, it says we have an increase of 13.58 for health. If it's not, That's number 273.
Because
In the highway department.
I think it just reflects the difference, the changes in the different statuses and the change in the dental, because that health insurance line includes dental and vision, health and disability. Well, not disability,
Life.
life.
Yeah, true. Okay.
So even though the rate for the health might be going up 10%, well, the other stuff, plus whether it's a single, plus water or family, changes in the line, so.
I'll double check that figure, make sure that I'm not double counting somebody, because one person in the middle of this fiscal year moved from taking insurance to opting out. So there's a possibility that I'm double counting that person, so I'll verify that.
The other health lines, zoning and what's the 8 months.
Yeah, that's it. It's a state. Yes.
So how many people in town hall do we have taking health insurance? Do we have to?
Let me count.
Yeah.
We can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can make 5.
Maybe taking it.
Yes. Good. Good job.
5. It's in my highway, 2 on sewer.
Really.
3 on the highway, 2 on the sewer. Right? Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys want to continue? Okay, any questions about that? Well, we're good to do the transfer station.
Well,
Wait.
I did want to talk about the idea
Okay.
of hiring a new person. Because this is the time to do it, right? So. How many of those 6 people are they all CDL drivers or?
Well, except for one.
Okay, so there's one that's non-CDL.
Okay.
And is that person the one that is doing mowing right now?
Yeah, lawn mowing, sidewalk, stuff in the winter.
But there's no way that that person can do more. That person's maxed out, right? I have to ask that question because of the cemetery
Definitely not the
stuff.
cemeteries. No.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that, but I just wanted to check.
I don't know how long it took that contractor, but assuming he was down here at least 2 if not 3 days a week,
Right.
and he had multiple mowers going, it wasn't just one person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least swallowed it. The guy was doing it before, I think the last year he did it on his own, but I think he might have been by himself, but that's why I think he ended up giving up the Swaller, because I think he had any more help. But it's definitely for the mowing, especially the trim one,
Mhm.
a lot of trimming. So I would think it'd be definitely 2 if not 3. You probably wouldn't have to trim each one every week, but maybe once a month. And then you. But the mowing's definitely. I believe they were having them mowed every week, especially in May.
And when I read their minutes, they actually talked about the fact that their season has expanded in recent years. Like they're starting earlier and they're going later because of climate change.
Right.
Um, So they're now going, I think if I'm remembering correctly, it was like April into October. Which I didn't used to go that far. So if we wanted to have somebody to do the cemeteries, plus do what I was proposing of like doing more of the parks, because your person doesn't do any mowing of the parks, they just do the mowing of the fields, is that?
No, they do all the mowing.
They do
Park and
all
Rec
the
does that.
mowing, okay.
They do here, community house here, welcome center. Centers, school fields, the school does around the building. Common park, and every park. The island for the state and along the road coming from South Kent Road into town.
Do they ever do that anymore?
They come by once a year with their mowers, but
So, but keep it neat, yeah.
they asked to do that because that's where they planted the trees, so.
All right.
And where else is he? The town garage, the transfer station. You can go.
Can you do all that stuff in 1 week? Okay.
Good. And you have, in your capital line, you have new mowers coming in, right? You have the new zero turns.
There is money in there for a zero turn replacement. You wouldn't want to, what I was gonna buy there wouldn't be, probably not good for the cemetery.
No, but I meant as far as being able to do everything with the equipment you have, but
Oh,
any
yeah.
additional would be additional equipment, trailers, truck, and all that, which is the big cost. A large cost along with labor when you do any maintenance. So like, so 44,000, I believe that was the number, right?
47.
47. Okay. Short change. 47, that's probably under half of what it would cost for another individual with health if they took
Well, if
out.
you're gonna hire somebody for a year, non-CDL is gonna be around 112, 115
So
with them.
what about if we didn't do a full-time person? Can we do a part-time person or no? Or is that a problem
For
with
all
the
year.
union?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they can get a full-time person for, well, the maximum is 3 months or 6 months. They don't have anything against me having, help come in, but if that person starts doing jobs that a union person would have been doing, then they have issues with that, but I wouldn't be eliminating any jobs for them, but
So prevailing wage, the union is prevailing wage, and you pay generally, right, is our pay scale for our 5 guys on the crew.
it's probably not, sure it was negotiated wage in the contract, but
Right.
failings just covered by, state contracts and stuff, we have to pay for the area.
But you generally, speaking in a union, if you would say, I guess most every town crew is union, I would think around here.
Yeah.
I mean, there are.
Whether Teamsters or ASME or one of them, depends on the town.
so we could hire somebody part-time, but only for,
I don't remember. What
it's
it was,
either
90
3 or 6 months?
90 days or 6 months, I think it was.
But if it was, let's say we needed somebody for 8 months, then that person would have to be full-time.
Well, they
Based
might
on
not
the
be
union
full-time,
contract.
but they would have to become a union member. They would have to pay dues and all that stuff.
But we wouldn't have to pay them for a full-time salary? Or we would?
Well, probably not, but not unless, well, once they became a member, then the union might want to make them have an increase.
Okay.
Unless it was just a part-time person that was donating money to the union, so they could work it out.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hard time understanding all this,
Yeah.
because this is new to me.
I think part of it maybe explain better, but we're saying though, but it's a union, to be in the union or to be in a union contract with our guys, there's certain things that could not be done by a person who's non-union if it can be done by a union person, correct?
Yeah, if we're taking their work away from,
from someone who could be
there's
union.
nothing against hiring subcontractors or stuff like that, but you tried hiring 6 full part-time people and told those guys that
Yeah, right.
anything, if there was any chance of being over 40 hours in a week and those other people were doing that,
Exactly.
then there would be a problem with it.
Yeah, I get that.
But, and I appreciate what you're saying. I think though, right, for the first year, I would be more comfortable seeing how this runs, how our costs run. Because the equipment itself, a truck, a trailer, a trimmer, mower, hand mower, or, push mower, which you have to use for some of the smaller in between, plus your trimmers and all that, and you repair gasoline, all that maintenance for the equipment. I
But
think
we
that's-
already have that stuff.
we don't have, but we can't use it at the same time for doing the town areas that we're doing now, and then put it on, for the days or 2 or 3, whatever would be in the cemeteries, I think. I think you have to have secondary materials. And Jerry, if you see him when he's driving his mower, not usually riding mower itself, I guess he must truck it somewhere, maybe parking somewhere. But I know anytime he's down to the school or in Commons, he's driving it from hotel garage himself. I mean, he doesn't put it on a truck. So I know when he does the.
Oh, I
the
see
school
what you're
that way.
saying.
Yeah,
So logistically, it'd be
But
different.
it would be much different, yeah, to go into, into Bull Bridge and then all the way up to Skid Mountain, you'd have to have a truck and the guy's gonna drive up the hill with his mower. But yeah, it would, there's the cost incurred with that would be kind of significant. But we can look and see how it goes with this year, because we're accepting that in fee scale and budget, to see how that goes. And then see if there is any way we could make any accommodation or make a separate item for someone to take care of that, or look at how maybe we divvy up some of the mowing as well. Maybe, again, we're not taking away from a union person. We wouldn't want to take over park and rec facilities for a person who's doing, if he's got an extra day of the week or something, to do it, on Friday or something like that, or whatever to do. So,
Is it connected to that? No.
Well,
He's got it on the screen.
Oh.
It's in danger of tipping over.
Jeez, okay. I gotta get rid of that. Oh,
Maybe
it's-
just click OK.
Yeah, it's, there it is.
It's not showing up on
Safety
safety,
ring.
There you
Keep
go.
going.
All right, cool.
Who's tipping on?
I'm feeling all right.
But yeah, so.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, I'm a little fuzzy with this stuff too, but it sounds like it's very complicated. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling
You're
us.
going from a subcontractor with all his own equipment for 49,000, whatever it is. And they don't do on those specific items, so he's not spending a full week working here. And then, 25,000 for park maintenance. That was also a subcontract to one or multiple people to do
This is
odd
one.
jobs or.
Another person full-time union is 112.
With a non-CDL would be the best. You gotta, to start with, until you hire them, you have to figure a family insurance policy, so it's $40,000.
That's true.
Get pension rate.
Then you have to add equipment.
And we might be able to do something part-time, but it's complicated. If we did.
Yeah, I think
one of
that
those
it's-
6
We
months.
could, but there's a time limit then,
Time
limit.
because it's a
Yeah.
seasonal work.
It's a seasonal.
Right. For real person.
So the question is, with the ever expanding season, is it even gonna fit within the parameters of
Yeah.
the union contract?
You have more sidewalks too, we may be looking for a second person to
Oh, yeah.
work on sidewalks.
Sidewalks.
It's pretty,
I know what those are gonna be.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that. So what the timing of that is, it's gonna start, it would be done in this new fiscal year, right?
Potentially, maybe not all, but done. but it would probably start August, is what we're looking at. We've got a meeting with utilities and all that stuff to discuss, how moving utilities or anything like that, but potentially, we could start late summer, late July, August. And that would have to be scaled in again, if we have good weather, and then they could proceed until they couldn't lay any more concrete or whatever, based on the weather. I suppose, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So it would be really good data to collect, like, how much time Jerry's spending on these things, And then if the new sidewalks really jack things up and throw everything off.
What we do in a lot of places, we do an ordinance that you must maintain your own sidewalk in front of your house, send it back to the home.
The problem is a lot of it is businesses.
Yeah. And then they pay, that's part of the chamber, they pay money as a weekly.
But I vaguely,
Weird.
I vaguely remember that the businesses had to do it to when the fire district existed. And that was a problem. Do you remember that?
Well, the fire district used to hire somebody to go out there with like Jack Potter with a little mowing tractor with a blade on it.
Yeah.
Once the snow got, over an inch, it's kind of hard to do it with a tractor that's not four-wheel drive or anything.
Yeah.
And what that blade would do to the concrete anyway. See that?
Well, I do think it's a neat idea that we should definitely be thinking about it. I hear what you're saying, but I love the idea of trying to find somebody that's a little bit more than just mowing too, that we could do
Off-season work.
off-season work to help keep the town buildings more regularly maintained and repaired.
Yeah, so when we do that kind of all-in-one talent, could be difficult to find too. So
No, but I think if we're advertising for a new person, we have a better chance of making that happen.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
That's good. It's worth the conversation.
absolutely. As I'm saying, I think, look at this, and I think the plan that Joyce was outlining a little bit earlier, when we talked to her about what she's actually going to put together for the maintenance and repair of things in the entranceway here. I mean, we're looking at it. We haven't heard yet from the company that installed this and Yucatec to see if we can change and fix this here. I mean, if you look at it, there's a room for a second camera. At least it looks like that way out here. If that's the case, I don't know why there isn't a second camera that might help us. Then we have the microphone issue, but that might be a secondary piece. But we potentially have to look at replacing the whole thing. Really,
Should we be budgeting for that?
we are going to be. Yeah, we're still working. That's what we haven't gotten the estimate from them. We're waiting to find out exactly what they think it would take to replace this and take into account the reverberations off the ceiling and all that stuff. So, yeah.
And have we talked to somebody other than Yucatec?
We've talked to at least one or two others that we've talked to. One would sub it out to someone else. And Yucatec has a Logitech, which is the one that's done this and is one of the leaders in that industry to be able to deal with this. So, yeah. And along with that, I'd like to look at how we can do down the line with the Swift House, or not Swift House, Community House as well. Because that's acoustics are terrible. There's different things we can do, but that's all part of what we're going to be doing and what I think Joyce is looking at doing this year with the actual budget and getting things done. At that point, then we know how well the repairs, the maintenance, which is the replacing and keeping things going versus the repairing and new items like windows and Swift House and the siding they talked about, things like that.
Yeah.
So digging all that out this year is really one of the big ambitions I think that we're going to be doing for the Selectmen's office upstairs for our objectives as well as getting things done, our performance objectives to really reach out and get all this stuff taken care of and looked at. So, but along with that, that's all tangential to what you're talking about, Lynn. I think it's a good idea to look at all that and see what we can do and see what the cost would be and availability. We can certainly look around and see who would be able to do it. Maybe you get someone who can mow lawns and do all that and work as a carpenter or repair person that, can handle that. Some of it like electrical and all that, plumbing would always have to be more professional. But
Unless you really got lucky.
yeah, right. Is John doing it again? Anyway, okay.
But I mean, that stuff that you're talking about, that needs to be in the budget. And
Some of it is in
are
the
we
budget.
aiming to get this budget to the Board of Finance in March?
Probably towards the end of March.
We need that information.
Go ahead. We're not done. Yeah, we have more things to do. We have a couple more things.
Zoning also, or is that just capital?
It's capital as well. Some of it is capital. Oh,
So
you're good done?
I'm sorry.
you have to go back to zoning too, or is that just capital?
If you're changing the 5-year plan,
Oh, yeah.
That's capital.
That changes.
But I don't think we're changing five-year plan right now.
yeah, because that's what planning and zoning did approve, or they recommended that it be forwarded on
Right.
already.
Board of Finance asks you to change it then.
Well, and we're almost expecting that to happen, so. Yeah. But we'll see. I haven't heard from them. We'll see them next week. 21st, Wednesday, yeah, meeting with them. See what they have to say. I haven't heard anything from them at all. Anything whispers, so. Anyway, okay, but Rick, anything else on the regarding the public work section? We can go into transfer station.
Good.
I guess the one other question I wanted to ask you is you've had problems getting roads done. Because of multiple reasons, but would another person help with that, getting roads accomplished during the season?
Of course. It would help. How much more we're gonna get done still depends on the factors that come in as we're trying to do them.
Yeah.
The years that we have a burst go through, not a tornado per se, but, and then we have to spend a week or two cleaning up trees that you don't get any drainage done while you're doing that, so.
No, I mean, listen, if things start building here around here, we get going, we're probably gonna need to look at additional manpower. But, for different things, just for the housing, we have new places going in there, although most of that's contracted out for clean, for mowing and sidewalks and stuff like that, right? They do all that themselves, or they contract it. But still, down the line, if there's a lot of stuff going on, and ideas for potential.
Have more personnel or raise some prices up to cover contractors for.
And then
That's all that pricing's gone up crazy the last couple of years, so. All the prices that I've kept in the capital. It was us working with a subcontractor. Now to get them to come in to do more of it for the same money is, they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We've been pretty lucky with, we usually have, Joe's usually the low bidder for the machinery, so, and he's willing to work his schedule around to fit ours a lot of times.
Yeah,
And he's also, if we do have an incident like a storm or something like that, we can't work with him for a week or two, he'll go on to another job and then come back.
Anything else on the public works? One more question.
No, do we need to talk about transfer station? 'Cause
Yeah,
I noticed that was
yeah.
different. I noticed that was different.
Yeah.
So we have a new line, Whole Food Scraps, huh?
Right.
Currently, the grant from the state is taking care of that. And possibility we can spend that for maybe part of the year. But if we have to take it over, we have to pay the contract, the whole scrap of that. They also provide the containers.
It's part of the grant that we got this year for. HRA, we have a meeting at the end of the month to talk about this and the other stuff. I think that we had a meeting with Jen and Stacy, right? Tiffany, sorry, call it Tiffany, and talked about the extension of the cost and all that in the grant, or part of potentially, Rick said, for part of this year, so that our costs will not increase. It potentially could in the middle of the year, like anything else, if we don't have limited funding on it. But the other part with all this is all that being composted, right? It's all going back down to Richfield, right?
No, New Milford.
New Milford, sorry, New Milford, Richfield, two of them, so. But they're actually producing the, sorry, I'm thinking the composting system that Ridgefield has, where they actually take that in the big
They're
compost.
doing it right there. in their
Right,
town.
correct. But yes, they have the funding to actually build the composting system in place in Ridgefield. And so, but we're talking about getting potentially some of that back here, where we can actually get some of the compost back for the community to have.
And that was part of the deal.
Right, well, we haven't been able to actually affect that yet. The whole idea of the composting right now is limited to Ridgefield. So I don't know.
But people were told they were gonna get the compost back in the spring.
We're gonna get some compost.
Some compost,
Yeah, so.
not necessarily their own compost, right?
Correct.
Can't be.
Well, I don't think collect enough to make it worthwhile here, but we're looking at the potential of having smaller systems that are always coming up, new technologies coming up to be able to potentially move that with other materials to produce a composting, and composting material.
Do we have room that we could do it at our facility or no?
Not like the one that Ridgefield has, because they're doing it with just a piping system for the air and stuff. That takes up quite a bit of space. We would have to do one where you just put the stuff in they call it a vessel.
Yeah.
And then it's in there for like a week or a couple of weeks, and then as it worked its way out, it becomes the compost. We would probably have enough room for that, but not for.
I guess a shovelful or something. Well.
So, I guess the other thing is, do we have data on the amount of stuff that we
I don't think we have, I haven't seen it.
Tonnages.
Yeah, tonnage, but I haven't received information. I'll ask the attorney. I haven't seen that actual data.
They did one, I went on one of their webinars and they were touting the fact that they've done quite a bit, but they could do more.
Yeah.
In terms of.
A lot of people in town that compost at home, so we aren't getting.
I'm one of those.
Yeah, me too. I read that, that's for our,
When they talked about it originally, they were thinking 30 to 40% reduction in solid waste.
Didn't happen.
No.
So the other thing that's tied to this, and I saw it, I cannot remember what town it was, but one of the towns that was doing this grant program is starting to charge for the orange bags.
Yeah, we had talked about that, but
If we go to unit-based pricing, then
Right.
right now we're not.
which it seems like the state is gonna start pushing that, so.
But we think we can do that. That's what we talked with Jen about, of not having going to that unit-based pricing, which is cost for us this year. We think we can get the state to extend this for the year. That was correct, right? Yeah, she said so, yeah. We can
Extend our committing to it.
Right.
But don't we need to like get the people
Oh,
prepped for
oh,
that?
you're correct.
If a state mandates it, then
Yeah.
they'll have to do it.
Yeah, so it's easier to wait until they mandate it.
Yeah, well,
It's the halt, then Ned gets blamed instead of us.
yeah, we blamed it for the register,
Yeah, the
yeah,
voting.
14 days on mandates, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, but it doesn't like this year, we're going to have to go to unit-based pricing. So we
But
don't have to.
wouldn't we be able to offset some of that cost with the unit-based? If people are paying as they go?
We could, I suppose, well, I don't know.
You're already like the permits.
Right.
But we reduced the rate of the permit.
They're-
We reduced it.
I know, but I think they're gonna have to go back up.
Yeah.
What they thought would be a reduction in solid waste isn't as much. That's what they're hoping for.
But isn't part of the argument, I sat through all these webinars. Part of the argument is that people, there's no penalty for people of disposing of a lot of solid waste.
Right, that's what the.
That's what they,
going to.
and they said that we're very unusual in the way we have our fee structure set up. Because people who have to pay per bag, they figure out ways to make their garbage go to.
Right, exactly. But, since we're not in that stage right now, we're not mandated it, I don't see that as an issue that we have to take on right now. I think we need to see how this next year goes and whether, again, we're forced to go to unit-based pricing. And we think we'll have 1 year of some grace period for us here. Anyway, or the HRA will work with us on that. And, but next year, yeah, potentially, and we will have an educational process. We've already talked to them about that, how it would go. But right now, I don't report the mayor and you get people worried about we're going to unit-based pricing, but we're not right now. We keep the fees the same right now.
The same or go back to what they were? Because they were reduced
Right,
because
they were
of this
just because
program.
of this program, right, but if the program is going to continue, which we think it will for this year, then I don't think we have to go to a change in cost, increase.
But that means we're taking on cost, $5,500 more.
Yeah, but that's a new one, right? We could change it if you want everybody to. Right, this is put written actually before we had that last meeting with Tiffany and Jen.
Yeah, no,
But is the 5,500 going to be offset by a grant, an extension of the grant? I guess that's the question.
That's
it's
all,
only if the composting grant
Right,
it gets extended for 6 months, and that might be half a year.
but we don't know that yet.
We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think, we HRA next week, or
The revenue was down about 15,000 from the previous years, with rates being reduced right now.
15,000, we just said 15,000. But so like, yeah, there's some of the chip fees, have some increases. Yeah, the tip fees have gone up. I think a concern.
Get these happen.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea how many people out of the people who have permits are doing the composting? Is it a percentage or is we actually know that? We have that data? We don't.
Not really, no. We have the ones, there was only 9 or 10 people that bought just the composting permit.
Really? My mom's one of them.
I know. And everybody else got it included with their regular permit, but, a lot of them started doing it, then gave up on it, or others were too many bugs or smell, and then a few others have gotten back into it, so. I mean, right now, it's just over probably 800 pounds a week. During the summer, we're up, 1,300.
Yeah, I'll talk, like I said, I'll talk to HRA because they have ways of, they have some very good educational programs, part of those that Tiffany has, that we could maybe do some surveys and see how we're doing with that, to get a better idea than you have a rig count, how many people can use it.
I think the last survey, they sent out, had a question on it. They asked if you were composting. They're gonna see the results for them.
Yeah, I don't know, TD.
Besides that line, I asked for increases for the workers down there.
Salaries?
No, they were promised them last year, and then before the budget got done, they were taken away from them.
And then
Just the yearly percentage was this year.
so why do those workers need more than the cost of living?
They'd only be currently paid 1968. So I asked for $22 an hour.
Have their jobs changed?
Well, except for adding the compost now. Anything else that changes through HRA, we don't. Our hours are still the same, we still have to do whatever needs to be done within that time. And they also, you see, park and rec card for people for that much or more. Or other departments are willing to, the selectmen are willing to accept it in other departments. Why not down there?
Well, I guess the other question I would have is, what are other transfer stations paying? Because I have no idea. So if we are a lot lower than any of than the surrounding transfer stations, it would be good to know that information.
Like Salisbury and Milford, or anybody that's in the regional one?
I think, I mean, you know, it's like whatever's comparable to us, you know? I mean, Salisbury Sharon is comparable to us, right? In terms of size and stuff going through, I mean, I don't know
If
what's
they-
comparable.
Spend as much time as we do going through picking stuff and everything else. Just let it go.
That's why you would be the best person to pick which towns are like us, because I don't know.
Unless I go visit them, I don't know.
I'm too busy working to know them, yeah.
I don't think that it's gonna be hard finding people that will even come to work for 22, I would think. For the limited number of hours.
Because
that-
it is, people
Yeah,
are
we-
willing to
so-
work on them.
And the weather and all that, I mean, it's gotta be Saturdays and Sundays. Unless I retire, then I'll during the week.
I mean, I know that's, not everybody wants to work weekends. It's definitely a specialty thing.
Well, if we had made the across the board decision to keep the wages at with a 3% increase.
So if you do that, I would like to have them definitely considered in the, when you go with that other part.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
But we also need to know, what other places are paying. And also, how much has their job changed with adding the organic food scraps? What does that really, how much does that impact their daily work, you know?
Just say it's, that's all.
Mhm.
And keep monitor the carts and make sure that they're not overflowing. And switch them out. And we weigh them.
And the swap shop area that comes up every now and then. At least one person called me. Yeah, you guys have kind of that already. You have right next to the
Yeah, I mean, that used to collect so much junk.
Right.
That would, half the time, in fact, the guys before that, we stopped allowing that much. They were coming in during the week and working extra hours to clean up all the crap that was left, and take it up and put it in the garbage dumpster or in the bulky waste. So this past year, when we opened the area up, we kept it up near the office so that as we're going back and forth during the day, we can grab stuff and throw it out instead of leaving it sit until the end of the day or whatever. But
Did that work better?
works better for us, but people think that because there's not a shed there that they can keep stuff in all the time, that they're missing out on stuff. So, hang on to it till the shed opens again and then they won't be able to pick
There's also
once a year.
the wintertime hours too, with the snow and ice and everything else, having it out in the open all the time. Do other towns, this is probably, again, maybe something you need to look at, or we need to look at, is what kind of swap shop do they have around the community outside of the transfer hour or transportation hours? Is there somebody else who manages that? Is there a volunteer group? things like that. I mean, that was the other part is that could you get volunteers, but it's tough to get volunteers, especially on a weekend. They're consistent. That would be able to maintain.
Volunteers that come into the transfer station and work it there or outside.
In the swap shop area there, or potentially, I'm saying there could be other towns that have other areas. I don't know, where they keep a swap shop. It could be an online type, put your stuff online and just do it that way. Keep it home until it's no good and, nobody buys it, you get rid of it. But as far as, having anybody to do volunteer at the transfer station while you're open to man that little.
I think somebody did that and Gene. Gave him some reasons, whatever, I forget what it was. Church. Stuff like that.
Sure, it should be an issue, but, okay, we might have to cover something for people, but we do anyway. The people that walk back and forth there, if they were having something fall for whatever reason, like anything else, any other town function, somebody comes in the building, come to a meeting here, they slip and fall, we're so as long as we're open. But yeah, we could, that's kind of what the insurance guys tell me about that, but I don't know. But if there was any more need for you and Rob and whoever else that might work there to actually have to go over to that shed and watch that during time, that's extra time. But that's kind of an extra duty right now, outside of what you're doing with composting and sorting your trash recyclables and things like that. Yeah.
Well, all the electronic stuff. People just, with bulky, that's another one, they're always throwing stuff in without actually paying for it. Unless we see them. We're busy doing other stuff or.
Yeah, and you're still trying to find another guy, right?
Yeah.
Another person.
Got some applications now. So. And I had somebody approach me the other day. Get them to fill out an application also.
So is it possible to have a volunteer? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to Rick whether he wants to.
Is it possible?
I mean, but.
Do you want to deal with a volunteer?
If it's
Don't
a,
you have to be regulated or some license or something for the transfer station?
As long as somebody with a license is there, it's okay. I'll have to back to see if I have the email and Gene's response to when they wanted the staff member volunteers.
But the town has insurance to cover volunteers, right? We don't have to worry about that, right? So like if we have volunteers doing stuff at Park and Rec or in the
Correct.
senior center, we're okay.
Correct. It's just, but handling where you have your bulky waste, you have equipment. to
Well,
be-
but I mean, the swap shop is.
Well, swap, again, yeah, it was only swap shop, but maintaining volunteers, I don't want Rick have to worry about calling people, where are you today, and all that, that's the only problem, but.
Should be charging for stuff that comes in there also. It's a lot of the other towns, anything that goes there, you have to pay for
Really?
Yeah.
Pay for the swap shop?
it. And leave it there because if nobody takes it, you gotta dispose of it.
Right, I remember that.
Tell you anything else, like bulky waste.
So if you did it that way, then it's gonna be collecting money also.
Yeah.
You don't want too many volunteers running around.
It's our box of money. Yeah, whatever, so, but.
But there is people that really want the swap shop to come back.
People are probably not in the same couple.
Yeah.
But you keep telling the same thing, especially.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a good thing to have. I mean, there's interesting stuff. I bet there's been nice stuff, sort of nice stuff there, trimmers and things like that, electric trim. But, but just managing it is a pain.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of time.
And sweet corn, though, you can't have it all year, right?
Well, then you keep going.
I like that.
That's right. Everybody loves it when it's here, but let's see about it for you.
And the other part of the budget, we lowered the
Yeah.
solid waste because we are taking out weight from the compost. That was,
What's it say about it?
That's positive.
Yeah.
Down 12%.
Bottom line for operations actually went down. Oh, well, no, we. I should add them with the 5,500. So we went up $2,000.
Well, I think we probably gotta look at some of these, you guys.
I think those might have.
Yeah, I mean. $15,000 in revenue.
Is this,
But I mean, it also is looking at how much the grant is.
right, okay, so that we want to find a little bit more out at HR.
Yeah.
We're doing stuff.
The only thing we got out of the grant besides them paying for the compost hauling was ag.
Bags and the containers? Or do we have
Well,
to
the
pay?
containers belong to the guy that's hauling the compost. So he provides those as part of the fee. So, I mean, we didn't get per se any money coming to us for the grant, it's through HRA.
Stuff.
So HRA applied for the grant, got the grant. Program, it was up to us to give out the bags and the baskets and deal with the food or the scraps.
And part of the grant also paid for the people to come up to the transfer station and do the educational stuff and encouraging people to do that, right? That's all part of it.
Yeah, for a very short time they were there.
Yeah, posters and.
It's
How long were they there?
Two of the volunteers were probably there just over a month. Because we didn't get started right at the first of the, because it was, the grant was delayed some couple of weeks, so.
I talked to them a bunch of times, but they were going, right?
And Tiffany, she's HRA employee that's running the grant program, that, so she was there for like 2 months, and then when it started up in, what was Bridgewater, one of the other towns, maybe Bethel or Reading, she went down there to get that going, so she'd maybe be up here one day every other weekend or something, but she hasn't been back here since probably before Thanksgiving.
And thanks to Joyce for helping us out, right? Joyce?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. A lot of weekends there during July and beginning of August, selling permits.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll be looking at the raising. Yeah, I can get on that too. Yeah.
Those revenues that were published with this were like current.
Year to date?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was as of whenever. I haven't updated them since the first time, as of January 27th. Whoever this were.
I mean, we sold one or two more permits since then, but it's not.
And I probably won't update that again until I do the projections for the full year. It's a lot of updating that every year.
Now, for a new, somebody moving to the town now, we've been more reduced rate. Permit and stuff.
Is it a half a year?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you.
We do go to the. Maybe the pro system, you're probably gonna, we've all hired somebody else for down there. Probably gonna need, if we go to pay the throw.
Oh, right.
We're gonna need, definitely need more help, because you're gonna need either counting bags or, you know, stamping. Who brought in how many bags or.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that we'll have to read the other ways to weigh everything. And
That's not gonna go over very well, I don't care what the lines are. But on Sundays, people have weight to waste.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it potentially can go, especially if we want to do, fee permit, so. Okay, all right, thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Let's see. Register our voters here. Yeah, let's see what it is. Well, there's. Right. So, let's get that.
No, he was. He's sorry. Maybe we'll. Yeah.
Stay here if you'd like, just ask questions, whatever more questions.
Yeah, you can just ask me questions, and I did submit the narrative, like straight the line by line right now, and how I came up with the numbers I put on it. I am currently, I have one staff person that works remotely, and I'm trying to send out some inquiries about different people that I know that are qualified to work in my office, and none of them are interested at the current rate of pay. It won't even, and what is the current rate of pay? Like 26 and something. That's when I wanted to have that rate brought up to 30 an hour, be competitive.
So when you say competitive, what towns are you comparing us with?
The other towns in the region.
So part-time, are these people have to be, like almost like accountants or bookkeepers, like those kinds of
They
skills?
have to be advanced bookkeepers,
Okay.
definitely. They can't be entry level.
And have we done because we started trying to get, do like a email blast and put it on the website.
I need to rewrite the job description and that sort of thing, and I'm gonna be away next week and part of the week after, so I'll do it when I get back.
It is surprising sometimes what might be out there. I mean, people might be out there.
Well, I've advertised this job 3 or 4 different times since I've been in this position, and each time I get a lot of candidates, and I've hired a few that I thought had the qualifications needed, and 10 months into the job, it was pretty clear that I was spending a lot of time training them, and they didn't really have the qualifications. So now I'm looking at it a little bit differently. I'm picking people that I already know have qualifications, that I know their work product, and talking to them to see if they'd be interested in applying for the job. And as soon as they find out what the rate is.
That's a case of like specialized skills.
Yeah, assessor and this, things like, there's different, we'll be dealing with the assessor too. Okay, so no, I gotta get you from that. When you said you average salary for a town of Detroit, Connecticut, is that comparable town size, is that what you use?
Oh, no, that's
Oh, you
just from ZipRecruiter, and that's an average of all the towns in Connecticut, so that's the average annual pay. If you look at the big towns, they're,
Sure.
$150,000 a year. You get the smaller towns, they're $90,000 and $100,000 a year. You look at the really small towns, a full-time bookkeeper is $65,000, $75,000 a year at the average. But I do think it's important to keep up with the pace, because at some point when you have to replace me, you're gonna want to attract somebody that can do the job, and you don't want an entry-level person to do the job.
Right.
And it's the same as Rick's job, and when Donna retired, it's just permits.
When's the last time your job description was updated? Has it been a while?
I think it was right after they did the management review. We updated all the job descriptions at that point. It's ever evolving, like everybody else's.
Does your job description include all the grant stuff that you do?
I don't even remember.
I think that's an important key.
Yes, it is. Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely it is. You don't need more mileage?
Well, I don't know what I charge mileage for going from here to the center school and back. I mean, it doesn't really seem.
But any other conferences or anything else?
No, I basically don't have time to go to those conferences, so I haven't
I think quite well.
been going. I do like to maintain my membership in the two organizations that I belong to. But that's a shared cost with Cornwall.
Okay.
Each town pays half.
What about the computer services?
Nothing happened.
It's 20 years.
It's in my narrative. And if you actually look back 3 years ago, you can see that budget was pretty much the same. I have to update my software every 2 years, and it's coming due this August, and it's just the cost. Although now we are paying for the timekeeping software, and that's about $2,500 a year. We weren't 2 years ago, but I still think you can do it. You know, I put all the costs in there and added them up, and that's what it came to.
I think that timekeeping software is huge.
You like that?
Yeah, I just think it's really nice, you know, that somebody can go in and a part-time person can put in notes and that kind of thing.
It can do more than we're using it for, and it wouldn't cost us any more. It's just sort of transitioning folks to use it. That's
Right.
the deal.
That's the kind of innovation that is wonderful, from my perspective.
Any other questions regarding this? Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, still don't have any, from the assessor, or the, registered voters, excuse me. Okay. I have nothing else for the, for today. Anything else? Okay. All right, in that case, we're on to number 8 on our agenda, public comment. Anyone open to any comments regarding our fine town here? Okay. Thank you, sorry. Yeah, yes.
You were talking about putting in like $12,500 into a separate fund. And then it was going to be applied for different longevity, performance, that kind of thing. Is that an actual increase to the person's salary?
Yes, it's not a bonus, it would be an increase in the bottom line.
Okay, and then how do you transition that into the following year? Like,
That would be.
I guess my question is, what happens then to the budget for the following year?
Budget for the following year, okay, so the progression here would be to continue with performance objectives, right, which we talked about in longevity, the two main factors. We continue with that and start with the next baseline, which would be hopefully increased, planning to increase bottom line, and that would be the budget we would go from there. And at that point, then I think we have an evaluation to be able to adjust salaries, and then based on specifics of the job and the individual's performance, and based on their own objectives for that piece.
Okay.
So, and then longevity as well. We have to figure out the formula, how we wanted to do a longevity thing, which includes elected as well as appointed or hired officials.
Okay, so once you get that all done, so the 12.5 is going to go in the budget. That budget's going to be presented to the Board of Finance.
Right.
The Board of Finance, you're hoping, is going to approve the budget as a whole. Who makes the final decision as to who gets what? Is that responsibility for, just wait a minute,
Sure.
because there's conflict here and we're trying to figure that out. Who makes the final decision? Does the final decision for what you want to do with it have to come to you guys? Does it have to go back to the Board of Finance? Is the approval that's done based on individual lines? Is the approval by the Board of Finance. Is the approval done on salaries? Have you looked at your policy and procedure manual to see what you do with salaries and how they're approved and that kind of thing outside of the budget? So I guess my question is, have you really looked at how you're going to be doing this? And are you comparing it to the policy and procedure manual to make sure that you're in compliance with that?
We will be adjusting the policy and procedure manual to bring this into compliance.
Okay.
That would be our plan to do that. I know it's maybe a bit backwards, or at least it seems to be, and I understand your point. But yes, we have to bring it all into line to be able to do that. That's what we'd have to present to the Board of Finance.
Okay.
So we'd have the ability to make that adjustment to the salary level and then carry that on to the next year. And it has to be the Board of Finance's agreement that we'd be allowed to do that.
Okay. All right. So the 12.5 is just going to be a 1-year shop deal. You're not going to look at this in the future. So you're going to use this 12.5 to bring people up.
To bring people up and then start looking at a better evaluation process to be able to adjust as people feel and as a community, as you know, the market goes for positions and so on, to be able to bring that all into play with longevity and so on. The town, the point I'm taking on what you're saying, and I appreciate that, is that we are way behind in our town in how we pay our individual.
Oh, I've known for years.
I know that, and that's what I'm saying, I heard that too. I don't know a way for us to get there without having to tear everything apart. I thought this was a good approach to it to start with, and then next year, as we go in our second year, we'll be all together, is that we'll have a policy and procedure in place to actually do the longevity, the performance evaluation, and so on. It's not us trying to tell you, you know, say, you're not doing your job the right way because you should, I don't know. You know, I know your job is particular and it's good and you do a great job. And I think most of everybody here in town, I believe I said that my first meeting with all of you. But we could get performance objectives for your own evaluation of what you're doing, and we carry that through. That gives us an objective look, not a subjective, based on what we feel like doing or whatever. Gives it an objective baseline to start bringing our salaries up into play. That's the plan. That's my.
So the goals and objectives are going to start as a fiscal year, or are they going to run on a calendar?
It would be on a fiscal year.
Okay, so.
To maintain the budget consistency.
Right, but you're going to be looking at a goal and objective and a performance evaluation for only 6 months because you start your budget process in January.
We're going to start actually a little before that. We will start within the first quarter, the end of the first quarter of the fiscal year. By October, we will start looking at assigning that money. So we're not going to hold that money back. I want that money to get to the people within the first 90 days.
Yeah, no, I mean in the future.
Oh, the first, yeah, that would be, well, those objectives then the objectives will come in at the beginning during the budget process before.
Right, so then
you'll be
you're only going to be working on goals and objectives then for 6 months. Am I not misunderstanding? Because if the fiscal year starts in July and you're going to start your goals and objectives for the year,
Right.
You're looking at assigning salary increases. This is March, or
Right.
April, February, but you haven't gotten a full year of goals and objectives done. Is basically what I'm saying.
We will have the first year of your goals and objectives done. We'll have 6 months of them, yes, done before we start the budget process.
Right.
So we'll have them in October. By the time we look at February, March, we'll have looked at your goals and objectives, made an assessment on that 12.5 initially, and then from there, your goals and objectives will be updated. And you'll start with at the budget time. So February, March, you'll start doing your next year's objectives. So it's a kind of a slide until we get them up to that, you know, the year in advance, or not a year in advance, but it should be 3 to 4 months in advance.
Right.
Of the fiscal year. So by March, April, your goals and objectives for the next year should be in place. You should know, I would think, I mean, in my experience anyway, how you're doing next year, what you can do to continue, what you had to change, didn't work, you know, which is fine too.
Right.
And how you would.
I was just curious how the timing is going to work after you go through this initial hit.
I think we're open to sort of examining that. I think you're asking a great question. But I don't think, we haven't really talked about the afterwards. And I think we need to look at the whole, you know, how does the year work best?
Right.
Because it's not working best the way we've been doing it. You know, it shouldn't be this big to do every single budget season of how much money am I gonna make?
Right. Okay, all right. I'm just, coming from the private sector, and the way that things were done, it was, and I guess maybe because the organization was so huge, it was an easy process.
Sure.
And this has always been a difficult process, and I understand that we would like to be able to make it easier for everybody. But, you know, we, just talking to Ty, just trying to figure out how is this process actually gonna work? We just really couldn't figure it out. I couldn't, coming from, you know, the private sector and how they ended up doing theirs.
Or just, I know I'll be speaking for myself, not for the whole board, but the plan, and this is kind of my plan that the board agreed with right now. And SIP is in a week from Monday, you know, when we have our afternoon meeting, we're having it, I don't know if Joyce has got that out yet. It's 26th, I believe, in the afternoon.
Yeah.
We'll have, and we'll start talking about that specifics, get the feedback and all that. So I can actually, you know, hear your comments, Ty's, everybody else's comments. And that
Right.
that's exactly what I want that meeting for. And we're going to look at suggestions of ways we can make the goals and procedures manual actually, you know, fit this and give everybody a chance to really understand what it is we need to both recognize and reward
Mhm.
for the performance of our people, you know, the ones that serve the town. So that's, you know, really the start.
Yeah,
But
okay, no, I
To
understand.
build it as we go.
Just starting is always the hardest
It
part,
is.
you know, I mean, and then it's just working on the kinks as you go along, so, okay.
Thank you. Good questions, Lori. Good question. Did a good points. Yeah. Anyone else?
Maybe on the screen.
Anyone else? Anyone in here? Anybody playing at home? Cares to make a comment?
We have Zan, we have Lynn
Yeah.
Harrington. Guys want to say anything under public comment?
Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, hearing none, I'll make or accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, great.
5:47.
5:46.